Hey you guys, I thought I'd try something a little new today. I thought we would go over and do some reaction to some of my favorite movies of all time, simply because the combat and choreography in these movies is absolutely amazing, and I thought that it would be super fun to kind of go through and see how John Wick's choreography would actually look in real life. A little bit about me is I have been doing martial arts since I was 2 years old. Started competing when I was 4 years old, been all over the country. I've learned from so many amazing people and absolutely love to just constantly be learning stuff. I've also choreographed weapon routines and fight routines, and I absolutely love to do that kind of stuff. So I thought we would go through some of the fight scenes in John Wick and break down a little bit of what's realistic, what is not realistic, and see how cool all that kind of stuff goes. So let's jump right in there. Here we go. We cut into this awesome fight scene already. I love how he's just shrouded in darkness. This probably emulates the fact that he's gonna go sneak up on some people. So let's go see. Super dope. He is. Oh, love that shot. That just makes him look super awesome. Okay, right there. Super dope. You grabbed the guy with one hand and threw him down the stairs. Keanu Reeves, the person who plays John Wick, is a pretty big dude. But grabbing somebody by the neck and throwing them from the neck is probably not the best place. The lapel would honestly be a better place. It's right by your balance point on your shoulder. So when you touch somebody on the shoulder and you move it, it'll move their whole body. But when you push somebody on the neck, it'll just kind of move their head. And also, you have to be insanely strong to grab somebody with one hand on the neck and just down the stairs here. But this dude took a gnarly fall. Holy cow. Well, anyway, let's keep going. It looks like it hurts. Oh my gosh, I love how he's just like, yep, he's dead. There's no way that anyone would ever get up. Look, he just stands there. There's no way anybody would ever get up after falling down the stairs. But reality situation is this guy would probably be okay. He'd probably get up and keep fighting. Except John Wick could easily overcome somebody who just fell down the stairs, I'm sure. Especially seeing John Wick movies, if you've ever seen them too. But yeah, this guy is taking a cigarette. Oh, absolutely. That right there, totally realistic. You can tell it's clearly dark in there. This guy's probably not on guard at this point. And it was quick. Right, he came around, just grabbed his head, pulled him in, and he take him to center mass, which means he's going to be able to control him pretty well. It doesn't look like he's doing a clench, but he probably could take him into a reverse clench, which is where you've got your hands kind of around like the front of his face, and you're squeezing his neck, and you could control him really well that way. Simply being because he's going to be off balance pretty much the whole time, and all that kind of stuff. So I'm interested to see where this goes. Oh, awesome. Hit to the solar plexus. Not bad, actually. So if you take a look at that takedown, I mean, let's be real here. He posed, so this is clearly just choreography. Oh, perfect shot of John Wick punching him in the stomach, and absolutely hit somebody in the solar plexus. What happens is it pushes your diaphragm, and all the air is going to come flowing out of your mouth. So if you have anything in your mouth, it's gone. Basically, Heimlich maneuver when you didn't want the Heimlich maneuver, or a cigarette in your mouth. So definitely something that would absolutely happen. Great takedown. Absolute great takedown. You see how he takes his shoulder underneath his shoulder and then does that shoulder throw? A lot of people would look at that and be like, oh, doesn't that hurt to fall on the ground? But when you fall correctly and you're also using your opponent to basically keep you off the ground, you're using your weight to pull him to the ground. Therefore, he's trying to resist you. And so you actually don't hit the ground all that hard. So doing throws and stuff like that, you can do it all day, even on concrete. So I bet Keanu Reeves probably 100% actually did this with some training. But you'll notice, if we go back just a tiny bit more, see how the opponent kind of just flails his arm out? In choreography, the idea is the bad guy in this situation, so this guy, is looking at his, opponent, right? He threw a punch or he got grabbed or something, but he doesn't know what to do because he knows that he's got to take this fall in just a second. And so what he'll do is he'll make the audience feel like he's trying to resist by doing like arm stick outs and big motions to kind of look like, oh, I'm struggling, when in reality he's really just preparing for that fall. So you'll notice that if we play this, let's play it a little bit slower actually. Let's play it at 0.25. If we play it a little bit slower, watch what happens. So do you see how he kind of almost jumped, excuse me, all the way up there. So as he comes down, watch that back foot. See how he repositions his feet. You would not reposition your feet like that if you were being taken down by this guy. John Wick would come in, sweep his knees out from underneath him, and take him down on purpose. So this shoulder throw, totally realistic. In real life, you could absolutely do this. If your opponent is ready for it, this is exactly what he'll do. He'll get into a good stance where his legs are clearly, ready to take a fall. And John Wick will scoop his little arm underneath there. That kick out right there with his foot is absolutely right. You'll kick your leg out to almost fall quicker. This leg would probably also get kicked out. You kick out both legs. There's a double drop knee shoulder roll throw called the Seiyunagi, where you take your arm, you put your shoulder underneath their shoulder, kind of like what John Wick did here too, and you'll drop on both knees. And I think that's what they're trying to emulate here. However, you'll notice that he's keeping his shoulder away. He's put his head kind of in the way, and I think they framed it this way so that Stuntman could actually fall onto concrete. Let's watch it really carefully, right where he's going to fall, which is probably going to be about right here, and see if there's any pressure. Because if they did this on concrete, I'm going to be really impressed. Let's see. Also, right there, did you guys see when his hand slapped the ground? That's what's called a break fall. Basically what happens is your solar plexus and your spine and your head are really sensitive, and you have to protect them as best as you possibly can. And as somebody scoops in and has that shoulder there, you have lost one of your arms. He's controlling the other arm, and he's going to scoop out your legs so you don't have control of your legs. But what you can do is you actually just slam your hand on the ground as hard as you can, and what that does is it creates pressure going down into the ground, which will ease the pressure when your solar plexus hits. If you don't know how to break fall, doing a throw like this would probably hurt really bad, because this is where you'd land. So you'd land on your back and your spine, and your head would probably hit the ground. But you can tell that the ground doesn't kind of smush in right here. So he's probably doing this on concrete, did that break fall, and it bounced off really easily. If you're on foam, it won't quite, it'll kind of spring. So as you try to film stuff like this, you want to try to hide that. So they probably, if they had a foam thing, would use CG right around it to kind of hide it. It'd be a green foam pit. But honestly, I don't think they need it for this. I would take a fall like that. Use a break fall. His legs are still in the air, which is probably good. He'll probably hit here, touch his back, kick his legs, and he's trying to keep his head off the ground the entire time. Yep. See how his head never touched the ground? This bad guy is going to get up, keep going, if it's real life. But he's probably dead because it's John Wick. So let's find out. But yeah. Oh, great. John Wick kept on to his arm. So he didn't really have to worry about the... he's captured his arm, and one of the things you'll see that people make a mistake in movies is they'll do this awesome choreography, and they'll get this bad guy, they'll flip him on the ground, yada yada, but they'll leave, what they had. You get punched in the face, you capture the arm, and you do all that kind of stuff, and then you let it go, and then you get back into a fist fight. That's dumb. Right? If you're going to grapple, which is what this is called when you try to go on the ground, you don't want to give up what you've already earned. John Wick snuck up on this guy. This guy has no idea what's going on. Really quick, got grabbed, shoulder throwed onto the floor. And, he's probably flustered and confused, and honestly, that hurts you more than it would in a regular fight. So, keeping that in mind, we want to make sure that, you keep a hold of your stuff. So if you're actually fighting in real life, you want to make sure that you don't make the mistake a lot of movies will show you that people make. You don't get somebody on the ground, get on top of them, punch them once, and then stand up, tell them to stand up, and then keep punching them. That's just dumb. So in this case, this is great because he still clearly has an arm captured. He's also putting him into a shoulder lock probably here. I think we saw him punch him in the nose, which is great. If you break somebody's nose, they'll bleed a lot. And if they're not ready, they'll just kind of be done. Especially because he got snuck up on. So let's go on some more. Yeah, that probably broke his nose. Hit him again. What you'll notice he did there is he covered the mouth and the nose and then probably tried to hit him in the jaw. I don't think that would knock him out. You have to hit him really, really hard to get enough force to do that. If he smacked his head against the ground, maybe. If he like covered the mouth and nose and then smashed the head against the floor, I could absolutely see that knocking somebody out. But from what I saw right there, it probably wouldn't actually end the fight. It would, if he didn't want to keep fighting, he'd be done. But that guy could probably still get up and be okay. Unless he smacked his head down really hard on that fall, which I think is what they're trying to emulate. Okay, so this is another instance of giving up what you got. I think John Wick was probably going for the neck, and he caught like the mouth, right? So if we go back just a second, yeah, it looks like he got the mouth. So that's probably not what he wants, and this dude can probably still fight. He's gonna have that adrenaline rush. The things that stop adrenaline rush is the stop of blood flow, because adrenaline's going to be carried in your blood. So if you stop off the blood flow to the brain by closing the carotid artery, it's going to affect things much different. If you have a wire like this, it's probably going to be a lot easier to choke somebody out on the throat because it's not like using your arm as a muscle leverage. But he clearly missed, but which is great because you're going to miss. When you get into fighting and you start doing stuff, you can plan out every single move you want to do, but the reality situation is you're going to have to actually sit there and miss a bunch of times. But he does a really good job of transitioning from this to the hand to stop the gun. So you notice this guy had a gun, and John Wick immediately saw the gun and stopped the gun. In gun techniques, you never let yourself be in front of the weapon. So if this dude was getting choked still, even if John Wick was in the right place, if this dude put the gun right here, even though he goes deaf because he's shooting a gun right next to his ear, the reality situation is you die. I mean, he's going to shoot you with a gun, right? It's disorienting. It's going to stop you from being able to fight correctly. So John Wick did the exact right thing by taking that wire off and taking the gun, which was very well thought out, super impressive. But yeah, so clearly he's fighting here. Now he's got the neck. He's not going to let it go until this guy gives up. You'll notice they cut away right there. It takes a long time to choke somebody out. I mean, you can go 3 minutes without air, you know, and yeah, it hurts and you might be exasperating, but it doesn't change the fact that you can go 3 minutes without air. So John Wick probably sat there for 3 minutes and choked this guy out, is I think what they're implying. So super morbid stuff. But you got to keep in mind that, you know, they cut for a reason, because it would take, you know, nobody wants to sit there and watch a guy gasp for air for 3 minutes. Anyway, he's doing a lot of open hand stuff. You can see him slapping on the forehead. I think it's because it makes it look really big, and he can come from really big, wide angles, hit people like really, really strong and solid and all that kind of stuff. So pretty impressive that they did all this choreography. He's pretty consistent with his fighting style too. He fights with a lot of open hands all the way up until the third movie. So if you're really watching for that, you can see, and you'll notice that he never hits anybody on a really compromising place, but he probably actually hits them. So if you guys are watching these things and you're like, these bad guys aren't actually getting hit, it's probably like movie magic. The movie magic is John Wick opened his hand. That's the movie magic. Stuntmen can, you know, get hit super well, and you plan this out. You do it a couple times, and you stick your forehead there. You film it 2 or 3 times. You just get the smack on the forehead. It's not that bad. I mean, you guys have all knocked your head on somebody before, and it's worse than getting slapped. So, excellent job. Super wide. Obviously, for movies, they're gonna want to have you go, but I love that little scoop hook punch into the groin. Mr. Johnson would love that. I love doing that too with the little U-slip there. Let's watch that one more time, and we'll just kind of go through this fight scene. Yeah, look at that. Kick in the groin. Open hand, open hand, open hand, open hand. I like the grabs. Oh, this is a great throw right here. I remember this fight scene. Kicks the leg out, fails the leg, tries to get in that way with a throw. Great hip throw right there. So, excellent example again of what happens when you take a real fight. I mean, obviously this guy is just kind of holding on there and letting John Wick like try a couple different things, which wouldn't happen. The moment you tried something, the bad guy would probably let go, punch you in the face, or at least change their grip in some way, or pull back. You can kind of see that this guy initially pushed John Wick away and then, you know, flipped him over and did all that kind of stuff. But I love that he failed with one throw. You notice how he did this and he didn't get anybody over. He didn't even get much of a reaction. It's exactly how it'll go. It means the bad guy was just prepared for it, which happens far more often than you want to admit. And then, you know, he flipped it over and he barely got this hip throw. Barely got it in, but it was super right. It was super right. He took this guy, missed right there, came on over, hip throw, great hip throw, right? Great hits to the stomach. Both of these bad guys would be 100% fine. You can take hits like that all day. All day. So, love this face though. Look at that. But this is proof that he's actually really trying to do choreography right. But the spacing and stuff is what makes this look pretty. A real fight would be a lot closer together, and that's what would make this super interesting. So, yeah. Anyway, tackle great against the car. Perfect on the solar plexus. That was well aimed. Right here is another really good throw. I remember this scene. This is John Wick's car that he just drove and beat up a whole bunch of guys. But it is amazing. So right here you can see him already starting to get his weight in position. This guy would not be as hurt as he would let it be unless he got hit directly on the solar plexus with like all that weight. Even with cracked ribs and stuff like that, with all this adrenaline going on, honestly, he'd still be up fighting. But movie magic, which is good. It makes it way more entertaining. It'd be way worse if we didn't get that, because this right here makes all this fight seem worth it. Love that over the shoulder throw. Yeah, Keanu Reeves is just fantastic. I also love that, you know, the scenes. In a lot of movies, you'll see them cut to like behind and in front and the bad guy's view and then his view, and it makes fight scenes really confusing. And this only cuts, you know, a couple of times to get you closer to the action. It doesn't change the action. It just gets you right there so that you can see exactly what needs to happen, what's happening, so that you're not confused, right? If it was that first shot, we wouldn't see these guys. They're off the thing. So great camera work, great scene projecting, excellent job on their behalf. See right here, this is another one of those things where this guy is clearly just going along with John Wick. He's just kind of hopping, and that pausing is what makes people feel that they can like, oh, I can do what John Wick does. But the reality situation is you definitely got to be able to show that you can do that. After this, let's watch one more and then we'll call it. But great shoulder throw. Do you see how he put his weight in the right place? Takes that, does that hip throw, great shoulder hip throw. So the reason why I called it a shoulder hip throw is he got his shoulder underneath the bad guy's shoulder, and he took his hip and got it underneath the bad guy's hip. He pushed with his hips to get him on the shoulder and then did a shoulder. So super classic judo right there. Or jujitsu if he's going to take it to the ground and do punches and stuff too, which is probably why he does open hand. He's probably not, he probably did not study you know, Kempo or Taekwondo. He really did study Jiu-Jitsu and Judo, which is evident in the third movie when you walk through that like thing and they're practicing like wrestling and throws. They're not great at punching and kicking, and that's evident through his whole career as a fighter, I feel like. But it's great. Oh, it's fantastic. It's super effective. The ground is your worst weapon. You don't want to get hit by the ground. You get hit by the ground, you're kind of done. For a second. I mean, if you continuously get hit by the ground. Getting hit by the ground once, I mean, you've all tripped and fell. It's kind of like that. It hurts, right? And if you're stuck on the ground and your opponent is going to punch and kick you, then you're going to get, you know, the snot beaten out of you. Just like these guys are having them right now. But I love this. It happens again. So kicking the legs out is trying to get his weight to scoot back. So instead of just taking a throw initially, he's not actually failing here. He's scooting them back and controlling his opponent by hitting his balance points. Hitting the knee will do exactly what that looks like, honestly. Nobody likes getting their knee kicked, so you get kicked in the knee, you scoot your leg back. And so John Wick is setting up for this, like, this next throw that's going to happen, which is great. Super advanced, super dope throw. Gotta be wearing enough clothes so that they don't rip off. He was grabbing onto his jacket, took his knees, kneed him in the chest, and pulled back. Kind of like you're doing a back tuck as he goes. So super dope choreography. Really presumptuous, but also totally accurate. If you can get that to work, it'll work exactly like you just saw him do. Let's watch the bad guy on that guy. So getting those kicks, getting him in the right position, great. Yeah. this hand right here. You see how it's a fist? He's not grabbing John Wick because I think he'll mess up John Wick if he does. Let's keep watching. Okay, look at this. Look at this. Okay, so he's doing his grabs. He clearly has stuff. He clearly has stuff he can grab. Comes over the top. I love this. Clearly struggling. I mean, struggling for sure. But there's no way that in this case, having both hands like that, you'd grab hair, you'd grab a jacket, you would grab something. I mean, when you're in pain, you clench your fist, you know. So clearly this guy is, you know, just ready for stuff to go. He's, you know, just doing the choreography. I love that, though. Oh, it looks so cool. He's so good at these throws. Holy cow. But little flop, that's what made me laugh so hard, is right there. Right there. Look, he goes, and little flop. He's like, oh, you know, like old, you know, Terminator. He's like reaching up through the lava. That's what it feels like. Anyway, let's keep going. All right. Oh, Taekwondo kicks. Great from the bad guy. All right. The distance is bad. You don't kick people with your feet. You kick them with your leg. So when coming in like this and he pops in and he does those 2 roundhouse kicks, great for movie magic, right? But you're not going to catch a kick like that. Not like this. You're not going to block both kicks. He's really telegraphing it. This dude really wants to do kicks. That's why I don't like Taekwondo too much. But, you know, stuff like this is where John Wick would thrive. You're giving people one of your, you know, strongest stand-up points, a leg, right? And he's good at taking advantage of those things, as evident by the throws and stuff. I mean, he's got this battle awareness about him that just is insane. And one more little piece of thing. You can see how there's bad guy here, and bad guy here. It's not necessarily they got knocked out or they didn't get knocked out, but the reality situation is when you get knocked out, normally you'll wake up, you'll move around, you'll kind of moan, you'll kind of do this stuff. They're not dead, but they're acting like they're dead. They're keeping their faces out of place. You know, this dude's probably taking a nap. He probably had to film this a bunch of times. So, you know, you don't get knocked out for that long. That's why when you get into a fight, you get knocked out, you call 911, you let them go, you let them do their thing. So, anyway, doing these kicks, oh, that was totally thrown by the bad guy. So if you watch right here, look how much force comes up on this jump. See how like little John Wick kicks and how much he moves? Standing sweep, absolutely. Even with, you know, all that's going on, that was just a lot. But it looks really cool. So I like it. I like it. Oh, this is a big dude. He's coming at him. All right. We'll watch this guy get beat up and then we'll move on. We'll call it a day. Oh, what was that throw? Let's watch that again. Was that just him beasting John Wick? Oh, look at how he's keeping his knees up. He's getting ready for this. So that cut right there is probably hiding this setup. If you notice, right here, it's about to cut. And then the next shot, so he's going to kind of scoop. He's going to give you that feeling of that scoop motion, but John Wick's already going to be in the princess position. That's when you got the arm behind the back and the other arm underneath their leg. And right here, so look, he's in the princess position, but he didn't get grabbed in the princess position. He got grabbed both arms. So super dope choreography. Really hard to notice unless you're, you know, analyzing it really hard. But oh, this is really dope. That's sick. That was just a big dude being a beast. John Wick is like, Keanu Reeves is like what, like 6'2", 6'2", or something like that. He's tall. So this dude must be like a giant. I don't know who that dude is. Also, you just flipped a dude, right? And he gave up all of that extra space that he had. He literally did a huge flip, smashed him on the ground. He's a huge dude. Clearly wants to beat up John Wick. He came and tackled him, and now he's just going to let John Wick stand up? Brooding walk. I love it. I love it. John Wick takes out a gun. Now he takes out the gun. All right. Shoots him in the knee twice. That's BM right there. Okay. Yeah. That was cool. Okay. Anyway. So, put things into perspective. I do absolutely love John Wick. I know that I kind of berated and was mad at John Wick in the fight scenes, but it just looks so good. And clearly, Keanu Reeves trained so hard for these fight scenes, and I gotta say, I'm really impressed. It's really cool. If you guys have not seen John Wick, definitely go watch it. I mean, it is rated R. It's not a swearing movie. It's not a sexual movie. It is really just a lot of violence. The gun violence, I think, is probably the biggest thing. His hand-to-hand combat is amazing. I don't know too much about guns, so I can't really tell you about all the gun stuff. There's a plenty of videos doing exactly what I did just now, so if you guys are interested in all those kinds of things, definitely go watch them. Keeping your creative mind open in karate is something that I absolutely love doing. Coming up with new, innovative ways to do stuff actually sometimes comes from watching somebody else do something. Watching, the dude princess throw him all the way around, At first I was like, did he just do that one arm? But he didn't, because I thought he grabbed him around both arms. Anyway, that was cool. It was super dope. So we just want to make sure that we stay creative, keep yourself occupied in that regard. And if you guys are interested in stuff like this, or you guys want me to show you how to do some of this stuff, head over to our Patreon, where I show and teach, and Mr. Johnson helps show and teach us how to do some amazing, cool martial arts stuff. If you liked what you saw, make sure you leave a like and comment, and join us next time. And if you want to see more reactions to stuff, you guys can give me some suggestions, and I can go watch some of those movies and give you guys a little bit of a heads up, or my 2 cents on those movies. But this was really fun for me. I love John Wick, favorite movie of all time. And we only watched a minute, so we got lots more to watch. Anyway, thank you guys for coming, and rock on.